We're at EnerCom's the Oil and Services Conference in San Francisco, California. Joining me now is Gary Grove, Executive Vice President of Bonanza Creek Energy. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Quinn. How are you this morning?
I'm great, thank you.
Good.
Now, earlier this year, you announced a $394 million CapEx budget. Talk to us about how you plan to allocate capital across your Wattenberg and Arkansas positions.
Well, we do have those two main positions, and the Wattenberg is the biggest piece for us as we go forward. So we've taken about 80% of our capital for 2013, spent it in the Wattenberg, primarily drilling horizontal wells in the Niobrara Formation. We'll expand that a little bit up and down the zone, drilling some wells into the B bench, the C bench, and then also some Codell wells. That's a sandstone that's beneath the Niobrara. But down in Arkansas, we'll take that 20% of the capital and continue our program down there of infill drilling in the oily Cotton Valley trend. So we've been very successful there, been drilling there for quite a while as well. It's a nice area for us, throws off a lot of nice free cash flow. So that's our plans for 2013 in both of those areas.
Now, we hear a lot of talk about the types of returns companies generate in specific plays. The Niobrara, for example, depending on where you operate, often post some of the strongest returns. What types of returns are you generating in the play, and what are you doing differently from last year?
You know, I think you said it really well. It matters a lot about where you are. And we really like where we are in the Wattenberg. We're in the oily part of the trend, so that really tends to drive our returns upwards. Industry studies out there, Credit Suisse has done some things, and some others have posted some returns. Where we are, you're going to see 50% plus IRRs in the play. We spend a little over $4 million to get a little over $300,000 in the EUR, so it's a great opportunity for us. But again, where you are means a lot. 65% oil at the wellhead is a tremendous advantage when you're talking about returns. As far as what we're doing differently, a lot of that's operational. So, when we first entered the play, we had a lot of experience in vertical drilling out there and how we would fracture stimulate those wells. What we do today is a little bit different than how we started, using the knowledge we have gained and others around us as well. So today we basically drill a 4,000-foot lateral. We'll frack it with about 18 stages, and then we'll clean it out right away and then put it on gas lift. So that has pretty much become our philosophy going forward, get a nice smooth transition, get the well online, get it producing, and take off from there.
Now, in addition to the strong returns you've generated in the Niobrara, you mentioned earlier about your Arkansas position. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about your development plans in this area.
Well, again, talking about this oily Cotton Valley, it's a really nice, repeatable formation. I use a great example for folks that don't understand it. It's very lenticular. And so what that means is if you think of a big bowl of potato chips, right, and you put a straw on one side, you hit a bunch of chips. Put a straw on the other side, you hit chips, but they're not the same ones, but just as many. And so what's happened here is we've downspaced to 10 acres, and we're continuing to do that work, and we're able to hit sands that haven't been basically produced before. One of the things we're doing is we're going to go and drill down even tighter than that to 5 acres. So that's some of the things we're doing there. Our returns are really, really nice in this area, again, because it's oily, but also we own some gas processing facilities there, and so that actually adds to our economics from having the ability to process our own gas, strip out the liquids, and then market those liquids.
Now, how much of your 2013 production is hedged, and at what prices?
We hedge about 50%. Right now, probably a little around 40% of our production for 2013 is hedged. If you use our kind of the midpoint of our guidance, and that's on a BOE basis. It's a little over 2 million barrels for 2013. Quite frankly, we're going to look to hedge up to about 50% of that for a calendar year, but it'll be more than that on the oil side because, again, we're predominantly oily. And most of our hedges right now are on the oil side. Speaking of price to that, if we swap, we'll be in the high 80s to low 90s on a swap right now. And those hedges that we do collar, it'll probably be, the base will be 85, maybe to the low hundreds on the upper end.
Mm-hmm. So what are some key operational catalysts analysts and money managers can be on the lookout for during 2013?
I think just to tick them off, we talked about drilling in the Niobrara. The B bench has become pretty much the bread and butter. Everybody's doing that, as are we as a manufacturing process at this point in time, drilling 4,000-foot laterals. I think the catalyst for folks to look at is the C bench. As I mentioned before, we're drilling 4 more of those in 2013. We drilled one at the end of last year. We're going to release results of that in our fourth quarter earnings call. We drilled an extended reach lateral in the B zone, and so there's been a lot of conversation about that. We'll release those results again in our fourth quarter call. It's going to be a fun call. And then we'll drill 2 more of those in 2013, so that's a catalyst as you move through the year. And then lastly, the Codell. So we drilled a Codell well last year. We released results on it, came in at over 80% oil, a little under 400 BOE a day in terms of 30-day IP. We like what we see there, and we'll drill 4 more Codell wells. So those are the near-term catalysts, but also stretch through the year. The other thing we're doing is we're doing a 40-acre space pilot in 2013 in the B bench. So that has implications in the B, but also in the C and others. Down in Arkansas, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to drill some 5-acre spaced wells. If we're successful with that, that'll basically increase our inventory down in that area. Just give us that nice repeatable infill drilling going forward, just like we've been doing at 10 acres.
All right, Gary. Well, thank you so much for all your insight this morning.
Well, thank you, Quinn.
Gary Grove with Bonanza Creek Energy.